It's a little monsoony out. You can see the clouds out there. But if you look at that, you got a 2010 with no tailgate and another 2010 with no tailgate. Ironic, I know. Come on, you're watching the Uncle Mike YouTube channel. Stick around. Look at that rain coming down out there. That'll make a flash flood now. Well, folks, just got back to the house. I picked up this 2010 Ranger 800 XP. It is not running, so we will diagnose it. I've got a hint as to what it is, but my guess is a spark plug issue and a dead battery. But I shall dig into it, and I will let you guys know what I find out, and we'll get her tuned up and do a whole service on it once we get her running. So upon further examination, spark plug wire is ripped out and in half. So haven't done this side yet because the fuel line's in the way, but gonna need at least new wires and possibly what do you call it, plugs. Probably just do the plugs because we're gonna already be there, so why not. So here's the old boots. I got the new plugs and the new boots right there. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Got the new filter, an old filter. We'll stab this one back in the box here. And there you have it. So even though when you turn the key on, you can hear the fuel pump cut on. I just took this injector system apart right here and plugged my fuel rail tester or my fuel pressure tester into it, and it's not making any pressure. So we continue to have a crank no start. Also, I got a pretty low battery. Well, on this Ranger here, had to get a fuel pump in. We're not getting any fuel pressure. So unclip that plug there, take this fitting off there. That's fuel fitting, fuel connection, whatever. Remove your ring, the gasket's underneath because I've already pulled this out. The entire pump assembly, the straw, the pump, everything was just disintegrated, laying in the bottom of this tank. That gas they make nowadays is no joke. So then I got into the tank here, when I took it out, like I said, everything was just kind of laying in the bottom of the tank. That's where we're at now. Wires cracked and stuff, so I just took this just to throw it in there to hold space. Got the new fuel pump. Let's throw it in here. Get that gasket off of there. A brand new jobber here. Let's see what we're working with. Come with a new cap in our gasket and a whole sending unit assembly. Drop in. Oh, come on. So for a whole sending unit, brand new pump, strainer, sensor for level, fuel pressure regulator, pickup tube, I guess. Whole assembly for the sending unit. You really can't beat the price on it. Let's snake her in. All right. Might be a two-hand operation, but let me see if we can get this cap on here. I about forgot to put that gasket on there, but it's on there nevertheless. Depress that spring setup and spin on this new retainer. Just like that. I gotta hold this, I don't want that spinning. But got that thing pretty doggone snug on there. Take that clip, pop that back over. Plug this in. Got some electrical connections made. Heck, what do you guys think? Shall she start? Oh, it sounds a lot better. Oh yeah, get her primed up. Let's see if she'll bark to life. Oh, look at that. So I just got back inside, driving around. Been sitting for about 9 months. Idle's kind of high. Might be because of the bad gas, I'm not really sure, but just hanging out right there around 2,000 RPM. A little bit lower, but so now that got that fuel pump installed, took it on a couple laps around the yard out there. Got her up to temp. Came up high enough, the fan turned on, shut off, so no big deal there. I believe the mileage on this unit is 3,900 miles, so not bad. I've got everything to change the engine oil, front differential, the rear transmission. Also back here, you can see that axle boot. That's gone. So I do have a new axle I'm gonna throw in here for the driver's side. So we'll get a new axle put in it. And this thing will be ready to go. So you can see that axle boot's torn up in there. You take the wheel off, take that axle nut cover off. There's a cotter pin in it, take that out. Then you can take the axle nut off. Gonna take the brake caliper off, and I'll take the hub out. That way I can get that axle free and pop it out of the rear differential. Got that hub down here. This should just pop out unless it's stuck, which appears to be stuck. So let me pop it out real quick. All you gotta do is get a pry bar in there and just bump the backside in between the housing and the actual CV itself. You can pop it with your hand and it comes right on out. Once you get your new CV on, you slap the hub back together. It's splined. It goes on there. Pulled out a little bit. Once it seats in the backside of that hub, it'll be good. So get this thing torqued down, and then make sure our cotter pin lines up. Almost. Once you get it torqued, you can bend your cotter key over, trim it down to an acceptable length. Just tap her nice and flat. Trim it down. Pull this one over and do the exact same thing. Tap it nice and flat. Cotter keys installed. Good enough right there. Put your dust cap back on it, axle nut cover. Keep the water out of it. Whew. Get your brake caliper put back on there, and then you can fish your bolts into it. One there, one down here, and then you can torque those up. Now we'll take this front bumper off for ease of access to the front differential. It's a bolt here. I already taken it out. Same thing on the other side. 3 across the bottom. Little word of experience, you'll always want to pull the fill plug loose before you take the drain plug out, because if you cannot get the drain plug or the fill plug out, but you already pulled the drain plug, you'll have no oil and no way to put it back in there. So this front differential doesn't hold much oil, as you can see, but we'll let it drain off. And we'll be using some Maxima synthetic front differential oil here. Doesn't take much, we'll just top her off. There ain't much to that front differential. Just pop this front bumper off, drain it, put it all back together after you service it up. I'm just trying to get this battery charged up. I will have to buy another one. Not a big deal. But in the meantime, why don't we do a little bit of upgrades to this Jackson? Got a set of lights here. Supposed to be high and low beam to replace these factory ones. Incandescent bulbs. Very simple install for those lights. Right there. Them LEDs, they're bright. Just gotta swap that one out. A little bit of a facelift with just some new headlight bulbs. The halogens aren't that bright, but they're a factory replacement, high beam, low beam. So everything works as it should. Gonna go ahead and take these halogens off of here. These things look like a doggone bucktooth grasshopper. Get those off, and we'll get a nice matching set of LEDs for the match the headlights. And I guess it's got a light bar on it, so no tools required to take it apart. Hand tight. Got all the lights installed. Everything looks good. Light bar's bright. Pods look good. Now that we got this fuel pump changed, I'm gonna go ahead and end up taking all this netting off because the fabric's just junk. So we'll get all this netting pulled off. It would look nice with a full set of doors on it. We'll see about that. Maybe a future program. But right now we'll just get the netting removed, and then I'm gonna go ahead and jump onto the oil change and replacing the rear axle on the driver's side. Now on that Ranger, I did do the engine oil service, oil filter, and I did change the transaxle or transmission oil as well. I guess I didn't record it. I thought I did, but I also did that as well. Very simple, very easy process. Plenty of videos out there. That'll do it on this one.